Hello and welcome to this week's Stamping and Creating with me, Fiona Whitten. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Wokingham, and today I have a couple of fun diorama cards to share with you, and I'm going to make one live on this. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. I just wanted to double check that this is going out live here on Facebook. She says, I think it is. Yes, good. Right, okay, so these are the cards that I've already made. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm getting to the point now I really need to finish my Christmas cards. And in fact, this was the last one that I made. That's for my husband, so shh, don't tell him. And as well as Christmas cards, I need to make some birthday cards. So this is the one that I've made for my mum, who will be 90 on December 24th, Christmas Eve. I've got to make another one for my daughter, Jenny, whose birthday is Christmas Day. So, and that's what I'll be showing you, because she doesn't tend to watch this, so I think I'll probably get away with it. But these are very simple diorama cards. If you can see from the top, it's made simply by putting a bit of a spring into some cardstock and die cutting an aperture of sorts. And it really depends on what you have by way of aperture. So this one, I used the Grove dies. This one I used the Winterly Treetops dies, which is the one that goes with the paper that I've used. This one was, I don't want to say it's Winter Wonder, I think. I can't remember now. Anyway, so, and depending on the number of these sort of little Zs that you put on there, determines how much spring you give. But either way, both of these will fit into a standard C6 envelope. Whether they go at the standard price or whether you have to post them as large letters is up to you, simply because the more you put on them, the taller they get, which means then that adds the postage. But I mean, they do go flat, as you can see. But I've got quite a bit sort of stuck on these with dimensionals, and I've got some sequins and various bits and pieces. And seeing as I'm giving these to my husband and then my mother, well, should be, oh yeah, then it doesn't really matter for me. But when you're making them, you want to bear that in mind. So today I'm going to make a card that, as I said, it's a birthday card for my daughter. She's a complete animal fiend. You name it. If it's got 4 legs, even if it's got two legs like a bird or whatever, she's really into them. So I've got this utterly amazing paper, which I thought was really sweet. So I know she will like this. So I'm going to use that. So I've grabbed, so this is a piece that I already had, these two. And I've grabbed some Pretty Peacock cardstock. And I've also got a thick, I want to say this is a thick piece of basic white. So it's A4 cut in half. So this is 10.5, the other 10.5 would be there. And it's simply scored at 14.9 to create the base card. Now I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use that to create the first layer of the aperture. So when you're making it, like on these, I just use straightforward basic white cardstock, nothing else. That was it. I'm going to do something a little bit different with this, because I'm going to glue some paper on. So for the card, for the first layer to go on the card, which is going to have the 2 sort of springy bits either end, you're going to want to cut the A4 at 10 centimetres on the short side, and then depending on whether you want just the two, so if you want just the two, which is basically this one, then you only need to cut it at 18.4. But if you want more spring in it, which is this one, then you need to cut it at 22.4. So I'm going to go for the 22.4. Might live to regret it, but hey. Okay, so that is 10 by 22.4. And then you need to score it on both ends. So remember to use your light coloured blade, which is the scoring blade on the Stampin' Up trimmer, and you want to score it at 1 centimetre, 2 centimetres, 3 centimetres, and I want to turn it around, and 4 centimetres. So that's that. And then you're going to do the other end and do it at 1, 2, 3 and 4 as well. I'm going to turn that and do that at 4. So normally, so how much is that in there? So that should give you, in between the last two score lines from on the left and the right, roughly it should be 14.4 centimetres, which it is, amazingly. Okay, so if you were not doing anything else with this and just simply die cutting, now would be the time to do that. But I actually want to make this a little bit different. I might regret it. So I'm going to cut this at, I want it to be 9.5 centimetres from top to bottom and 13.9 from left to right, and that will get put on here. And there is some madness, there's a reason for this, and I'll show you in a second. I need to glue these two bits together. If I can find my glue, which I know I brought with me from the other side, and I probably, there it is. I just have to find one that's got some glue in it. And this one I'm not, I want to make sure that it sticks well and truly to the cardstock. So you do need to put sort of stuff in the middle. Now this is an idea I had earlier, so how it comes out, don't know, but we'll wait and see. So I'm just about to glue that in between those score lines, like that. And then I need to get my die. So I'm going to use the Winterly Treetops dies, because this one has creates these sort of fronds like this, which I think will be, well, I'm hoping will be quite nice, and create fronds as well on for us to look through. So that's that. Now I do need my stamping, cut and emboss machine. So got that. Now because I've got a couple of layers on this, I will probably need to run it through a couple of times, and I will also need to make sure that the die is not going to move, which sometimes is easier said than done. So if you're not sure, then washi tape is your best friend for this. As there is no magnetic plate for this. If I had a magnetic plate, it would be fine. Now I don't want to put too much washi tape on this, because I don't want to ruin the paper. So I'm just sort of catching it in opposite corners. And where's my plate? There it is. So I'm just going to run that through. I'm going to go back and forth, whoops, a couple of times. I need to hold this down, make sure it doesn't. Let's do it another time. As I said, a few times just to make sure. And if it hasn't come out, so I can see from here that it's a bit debatable whether these bits here and there have actually cut. So if you sort of change the angle that it's going in on, so rather than it being straight, I'm going to put it slightly at an angle and then run it through again. Now if you take the die off and then find that actually the pieces won't poke out easily, then these dies are quite simple to slot back on top again. You'll find that everything will just simply match up, just obviously making sure that the die is the right way round. Let's try that. Right. Now that should have done it now. Right, let's see. Let's give it a go. I've got the take your pick tool somewhere. So let's remove that. And that. And hopefully this will just simply come out. Oh, so far so good. I might end up having to poke things out carefully. Sometimes it comes out first time, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. I should have done one earlier so that I could just say, here's one I did earlier. But nope, didn't think to do that. It's been a bit of a manic day today. I had to go all the way over to Staines to house sit my daughter's house because all her fences blew down in the storm we had this week. And she had to go into work today, so yes, I was the one that had to go and sit and wait for the person to come and quote. And I got probably about halfway there, 2/3 of the way there, and there's something going on with the slip road from the M3 onto the M25, and we just literally sat there for about 40 minutes not going anywhere. But hey, luckily it wasn't an accident where people were involved. It was some transporter had, I don't know, it spilt some liquid or something on the road, and the police were there having to put some weird looking sand down. But hey, right, let's see now. It's just coming off now. I think it pretty much is. Yay. Okay, so that's that. Make sure that these are all flat. There might be a couple of pieces still that need to be poked out. See if I've got them all now. It's one of those things that sometimes you don't notice until you've actually put it all together and you think, fudge, should have got that bit. And I think that is it. So I'll just put that out of the way. So I've got that I could use for something else. So there's that. So then we need to, so these score lines here, we need to fold and burnish them. So the furthest one in, you want to fold it back on itself. And you're basically just going to keep folding it back on itself. So you're just making a lots of Z's. Like so. So you see that's got lots of Z's on it. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing the other side. Just keep folding it back on itself, making sure you burnish it really well. Like that. There's something there that doesn't need to be. That's it. So that is going to be my diorama bit, which will sit on the card. But before I glue that to the card, I need to put something on the background. I'm just going to grab this piece. I thought that this bit here would actually look quite sweet, of the otters swimming around. Don't really need the other bits there, but I kind of want them central. So I'm just going to grab a pencil quickly and just mark, because I can see through the aperture where it is that I want things. And then I can use those marks as a reference point for cutting the paper. So I reckon that's about, try and get it, if you get it central on here, in here, where the groove, where the blades run, it'll be close enough. And then you can then just run it from there. I think this is going to be about 10. Yeah, let's just try it. And then this one again. So this is going to be, did I say 14.4? Which I can't actually see on here, but hey. Luckily I cut one here, mark on there. Let's see. Okay, so that's my piece that I've cut. Like so. Probably should erase the pencil mark. I've forgotten to bring an eraser. There goes one on the end of the pencil there. In theory, you're not going to see it anyway, because it's going to be under the edges of this. So when that goes on top, like that, you will then be able to see the otters. Okay. Normally I would say put that onto your card front, and I think that might be a little bit too wide. So I'm going to just trim that slightly. 14.4, let's just take it down a bit to like 14.2. I'll take that bit off there. Right. So as I said, normally I would say just glue this on here, but you really want to make sure that this piece is exactly where you want to be able to see it through that aperture. Now I've used the Winterly Treetops dies. You can use just plain circles, ovals, rectangles. It's really up to you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the glue, and on one side, just, I don't think that's one that has much glue in it. Just simply going to put some glue on that piece. Like that, and then I am going to stick it onto the paper that's going to go underneath, making sure that it is square, or as square as you can get it. Obviously you don't want things going on a slant or anything, so glue's good for this, because you can then just simply make sure that it is straight. Okay, and then I want to glue this end I've gone and picked up the one that has no glue in it. Let's put that, throw that in the bin, get rid of it, then I don't have to worry about it again. So that's the glue for that. And then simply this time make sure that this is laying down flat and glue this onto it. So make sure that the ends, both ends, will actually lie down flat, because you don't want it to pucker. So long as this end is lying flat, and then you can just push this down onto the other end and make sure that that's lying flat. A little fishes on the other end, that's quite sweet. And then you can trim off any excess that you see. So I got a little bit of excess on there. So I am just going to take that off. Like that. And then that will get glued to the card front. Probably should also put something heavy on it to hold it down for the time being. Once this is sorted. Oops. So let's see, put that on there. That on that end. So you push it down just to make sure that it is. Hopefully you've got a top and bottom sides got equal border around, like so. It's always difficult to actually see this from a distance, so I'm hoping that that kind of looks okay. We'll see. So right, okay, I'm going to turn that upside down, and I've got a couple of, well, I've certainly got more. I've got a couple of old punches. I can use those to go on the top, just to hold that down out of the way. There we go. Right, so decoration. What am I going to put on it? Now I could put another otter on. So I could, let's see what I've got. I've got a little otter there. There's lots of otters in this utterly amazing paper. I could actually stamp an otter and colour it. Let's see. I don't remember what this thing looks like now. It may not. So it's still sort of underwater. So, and it's, maybe I'll put one of these in. I might just quickly fussy cut it out. Actually, he's just about a whole otter. I'm going to use him. I say just about. Let's quickly. Oops, he took his foot off. So I hope all your Christmas or festive arrangements are sorted or well under the way of being sorted. As I said, I've got my mother's birthday on Christmas Eve, which is her 90th, so we're all going out for dinner. She likes Chinese food, so we're going to go to a restaurant that's close to one of my sisters. It seems to be her favourite, my mum's favourite restaurant. So we're bundling over there for dinner on Christmas Eve. Saves me having to wash up and stuff like that, so quite happy. But Christmas Day, it's going to be fairly quiet because it's just going to be the three of us. So it's going to be myself and George and daughter Jenny. Let's see, is he big enough? Sometimes you look at it and wonder whether or not you really want to put anything else on. So you could actually put him in there. And in fact, I think that's what I might do. I might just put him inside and put some dimensionals on him. Which I know. I was really well organised today. I had everything here. Really. Dimensionals. Can I see them? No. Goodness knows what I've done with them. They've disappeared yet again. Bear with me 1 second. Normally I wouldn't go wandering off too far, but I'm going to have to this time. Leave them behind. No. Yes, I did. Right, dimensionals. He's only a little otter, so I'm just going to use the mini ones. And because I'm giving this to my daughter by hand, I don't need to worry about how much, about postage and stuff, so I could put as much extra stuff on this as I like. Let's put something on his tail. Just to make sure that it pops up. Right. I mean, I could go on and put more in there. And I might do so later, but at the moment, I think I'm just going to put him there like that. So you get the idea. So I've added one. And then, of course, I do need to add a sentiment. And it needs to be a happy birthday. And again, I'm just going to keep that simple. I've got a happy birthday from, can't for the life of me remember which stamp set it was. And I'm just going to stamp that in Pretty Peacock onto some basic white. In fact, I'm just going to use, don't know, that won't work. I've got some scrap here. Got some scrap and Pretty Peacock ink, which is there. Punch that out. So this is just a, what is it, a 1 3/4 inch punch. I think I might use a slightly larger punch. I've got 2 inch punch here somewhere. And I've got certainly got a 2 1/4. And a piece of Pretty Peacock. That's kind of a bit too big, I think. So I can play around with punches for forever and a day. It's like 2 1/4's too big. I was just seeing what we've got, what else we've got. I quite like that piece. So that's a 2 inch. I can layer these as many as I want. Actually, that's quite sweet. Yes, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to simply layer these. I'm actually going to layer those. Like so. Like that. I'm going to use some dimensionals to add the actual sentiment on top. I don't need too many. I'm just going to use 4. Seeing as they're minis, if they were larger, the larger dimensionals, then I'd use only 3. But hey, do need to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. So that's that. So that's going to go on there. That's going to go on here. So I think that's just going to get glued on there. So that bit, and just trying to make sure where this is going so that I can figure out where to put the glue. I don't want to put it on the circle and then find out that I really have gone and put it in the wrong place. That would be a complete disaster. So that's that. So this still pops up and down, which is good. There's a little bit of foliage there poking out, so I might just take that off. So that's what this looks like from above. So I've got all my Z's, and then this, so it springs up and down so that when she takes it out the envelope it will pop up. So I think the only thing I need to do now is to add some bling. And I grabbed some of these Riverside Irregular Pearls. I'll just grab a couple of those. So there's like white. Does it say what colours they are? No. But you get 120 of them, and they're 5mm and 6mm. So there's white ones, and there's sort of a greyishy ones, and then there's the bluey ones. Very technical term, that, bluey. So let's put that one on here, I think. Like so. And then I think I might put a couple more in here, just to put a blue one in as well. Oops. Let's put a white one in. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then all that's left then is to decorate the inside, which I usually do as a strip. I don't need a large amount, so I'm just going to cut a small strip from here and glue that in. It just needs to be like 1.5 centimetres by sort of 10.5 centimetres. That's the width of the card from top to bottom. But I'm just going to put the glue on and then glue it in and cut it, trim it. So it's going to go in there like this. Like that. So as I said, you don't, if you've just, whatever aperture you have, that you, a die that you can use, be it something simple like a circle, square, rectangle, an oval, or excuse me, something more fancy like the dies that I've used here, which are what was I said they were, winter something. Let me go. Winterly Tree Tots, which is this one and that one, and then that one was from the Grove dies. So So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Just so you know, next week is Card and a Cuppa, which is the last Card and a Cuppa for 2024. We'll be back in 2025. Got a bit of an issue with my website at the moment. I've been trying to move it from one hosting company to another, and I've had some success in moving it, in that it's moved. Problem is I seem to have lost all the photographs. So it's a bit of a mess at the moment, and email's not working either. So please bear with me whilst I try and sort all that out. In the meantime, I hope to see you next week. As I said, for Card and a Cuppa, I'll be here again at 4:30. So have a good week and take care. Bye.